This bike is incredible. It is the lightest bike I have ever got my hands on. It weighs just 3.6 kilograms, which means even my skinny little arms can hold it up without trembling. I mean, that's well, about the same as a six-pack, or, well, a newborn babies weigh more than this. It's amazing. It's been put together by the cool guys at Fairwheel Bikes in Tucson, Arizona. And I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it. I'm going to go through all of the details and show you all of the really cool hacks and mods that they've done to this to keep the weight down. I mean, the level of detail here is incredible. Before I get onto the bike though, if you enjoy our content and like seeing the lightest bikes available to humanity, then please support the channel by giving us a thumbs up and also subscribing if you haven't already, because without your support we wouldn't be able to make the videos that we do, and well, we could do with your support more than ever right now. So first up, the frame. Okay, so this is an Alpha AC Lightness frame, and that is the core of the bike. It's stock. It is a very light frame. It's actually a size 58. So, you know, normally weight weenie builds that are this light, they're smaller frames because they're a bit lighter. 58 is quite big. Weighs 705 grams for this frame. So not even the lightest frame available to humanity. I mean, there are frames that are around, you know, 600, 650 grams. So you could actually make a bit of a saving there. And the fork is a THM scapula, which is just 250 grams too. So obviously everything here, carbon fiber, but it's a bare finish as well, as that helps keep the weight down. The next area we've got to look at is the shifters. So the group set here is a bit of a mishmash of different things, and it's all heavily tuned and modified. So the shifters are SRAM red, but it's the original 10-speed SRAM red, because that's the lightest mechanical group set that's ever been made. But what we've had is the shifters have been completely sort of modified. So the original shifter hood has been taken off, and we've had some shrink wrap plastic put on as a hood there because it's lighter, and then that's been heat molded over the top. Also, we've had the carbon fiber brake levers. They've actually been taken off and replaced with some different carbon fiber brake levers and then stripped back, and they've had little slots routed into them, so just to save weight. It's absolutely nuts. But the right-hand shift lever still changes gear on the rear derailleur, but the left-hand one is actually been gutted. It's had all the internals removed to save weight, and instead of that, to change gear on the front, they've actually got a down tube shifter here, as it's just much lighter. Another really neat detail that I've not seen before is actually to do with the cables. So the cables are power cords, and they're using Alligator iLink mini outers. So this is a smaller, narrower gauge cable than what you normally get on road bikes for both the gears and the brakes. It just saves a bit of weight. The narrower gauge cable is lighter. So that's why you've got these really skinny outers here. They look really cool. And while I'm sticking with the cockpit, we've got this cotton bar tape on there, which super light. That's just 14 grams. You know, normally bar tapes, it can be adding over 100 grams of weight to your bike. So that's a real easy weight saving and something that's not super expensive. The stem and handlebars, that's interesting because this is actually a Schmolke handlebar and an MCFK stem that's been modified by the guys at Fairwheel to be a one-piece bar and stem to save weight on having to put in the clamp and the bolts. So they've just bonded that with some carbon fiber into a one-piece there. And that results in a component that's just 228 grams. It's quite wide as well. Like, again, you could save a bit of weight going even a bit narrower on the handlebar than that. The brakes are AX Lightness, and well, they look beautiful. They're fully just carbon fiber calipers. And then this is a really cool attention to detail. Really light cork pads that aren't even bolted in with the grub screws like you get as standard on the brake shoes. they are just bonded on to save a little bit of weight there again. And the brake blocks themselves, rather than being that sort of standard length that you get, they're shorter, again, save a bit of weight. The result is that, well, they don't feel very confidence inspiring. I wouldn't want to do an epic descent on this, but I mean, they're tokenistic, they're there, they work, and yeah, this is definitely more of a hill climb build than a descending build. And other little insane things, just instead of the normal bar end plugs that you have that kind of go inside, this is just a little thin piece of carbon that's been bonded onto the end of the handlebar. Saves it just a gram maybe, but every little helps in this kind of build. And the same on the top tube as well, the little top tube cap, that's a little piece of carbon that's bonded on there. These wheels are absolutely nuts as well. So, you know, if you bought a standard kind of road bike, it's common for an alloy wheel set to weigh around 2 kilograms, sometimes even more, like 2.5 kilograms if it was a real entry-level road bike. These things, the pair, 688 grams. It's insane. So we've got AX Lightness carbon fiber rims, these incredible tune hubs, and then these really thin pillar spokes. And the wheels are tubular, naturally, because it's lighter. So on those, we've got these tubular tyres from Tufo. They're very narrow. I mean, they're like 19 mil, but, you know, they're around 120 grams per tyre. So super, super light. But, you know, I mean, yeah, probably not the fastest tyre. The skewers are super light as well, so they're titanium, they're Tune Skyline skewers. They weigh, I think it's like 19 grams a pair, but they don't have the normal quick release lever on them because that would add weight, obviously. So yeah, they're just ones that you have to tighten with a ratchet. The rear hub is actually a prototype. So let's go do a freehub sound check. They don't make this anymore. It never sort of went into full production, but it's a Tune Mag 90 hub. So rather than most free hubs use a ratchet design, this one has like a magnetic mechanism going on in there. Let's check it out. Oh my, this bike is so light. Every time I pick it up, it's ridiculous. Right, let's spin this up. Listen to that. Look how it just keeps like how it's going. Because the wheel is so light, it accelerates super fast, and then it's just up to speed, and it's like, I can't believe how quick that wheel accelerated up to speed. I did like 1 rev. Look, watch. Because it's so light, that's insane. The sound. It's like lighter objects just accelerate so much quicker, and that is like, that's a physics lesson for you right there. Just watch it. I'm gonna do it again. One whole rev of the cranks, one whole turn. Look how quick this thing accelerates. Watch. Cool. Moving to the back of the bike, the seat post and saddle is a one-piece. It's made by Burke Composites. So yeah, it's just all carbon bonded in. The saddle sort of shape is bonded in. Bare carbon saddle as well. They can actually be pretty comfortable if you've got the right shape that fits for you. But yeah, that's just insane. The collar as well, that's parts of passion. That's just 6 grams for that carbon fiber seat post collar with a little titanium bolt. The cassette is an 1125. It's one piece, 10 speed. It's actually made by Recon. I've seen them before at the Taipei Bike Show. They use some very nice anodized aluminium cassettes. That is just 98 grams. So again, you know, you sort of Dura Ace cassettes, they're getting over, 200 grams or so. So massive saving there. Onto the sort of derailleurs. These are my favorite bits of the build because they're just so heavily modified. Fairwheel, like, call it tuning. I love it. So it's like when you tune a car and stuff. But this is a SRAM red 10-speed mechanical rear mech. Hang on, National Guard are flying over. F-16s. They're up there. So the rear mech has been machined and drilled out, so you can see that there's like this big slot exposing the tension spring there. We've got a little nylon bolt put in there to save weight. So that's, yeah, plastic. These bolts have been replaced by titanium ones. Other components on it are all replaced by carbon. So you've got the little cage is now carbon, that's been changed. The pulley wheels, carbon, they've been changed. This results in a big weight saving. The rear derailleur is now 102 grams. So, you know, like all this adds up. The front mech, that's a Campag record mech. And I asked, you know, why have they used the record mech? And they said, just because there's greater tuning potential with that one. So again, you've got the cage has been swapped out here for a carbon fiber one, and then other little components have all been swapped. Even where the little cable is, they've snipped the end of the cable right down, so it doesn't even have a ferrule on it or a little, you know, it's minimum cable there, because it's like, what, maybe it's like a gram, but you're in the business of saving every single gram. So, you know, that's down to like around 50 grams. So the chainset is a THM clavicular. That's common on weight weenie builds, you know, from Germany. People love putting those things on because they're super light. That's 292 grams. So the top end Shimano components, Dura Ace, their chainsets, you know, 700 plus grams. So that's like, you got a big saving there. And the fibre light carbon chain rings as well, like they're, you know, like 50 grams. So huge savings. The chain, I thought it was KMC. It's actually a YBN chain. So it's got all little slots cut into the side plates to save weight, and the pins and rollers in that chain are titanium. You can't make the plates of the chain out of titanium because it's too, it's not soft. They need to be like steel. But that is a big sort of weight saving. They're only a slight one over some of the other chains, but 214 grams. The pedals, they're Aerolite and just 58 grams. There are actually lighter Aerolite pedals than that you can get, so you could save a few more grams there. But they are a crazy design. It's just like a peg that sticks out. So you would definitely need the right shoe to just slot onto that peg. And it is weird because it's not like a normal quick release pedal. It's quite easy to get out of because you just sort of like click your heel out and you're out. But these ones, you can need to like slide your shoe, the corresponding shoe needs to like slide the cleat on. So a little bit more awkward, but big weight saving. On that full carbon fiber bottle cage on the down tube, that's just 8 grams as well. But I have seen ones that are 5 grams. So could save a couple of grams there, couldn't they? There are things that you can't see as well. So the bottom bracket and the headset bearings are ceramic, but not for like the kind of rolling resistance thing that you always hear about. Ceramic bearings are actually lighter than steel bearings as well. So that's a big weight saving. I think the bottom brackets are around like 30 grams for those bearings. So you can make quite a big saving when it comes to bearings. And every little conceivable bolt on here, including the ones that are holding on the bottle cage there, they're titanium, just because it saves like half a gram. I mean, of course it does, over a standard sort of steel wad. I mean, the attention to detail here is crazy. But what is perhaps the most crazy thing is, although this is the lightest bike I've ever had the pleasure of picking up, the guys at Fairwheel tell me that they've done lighter builds than this for people who've asked them to build up bikes for them. So they say they've done, the lightest one they've done is 2.9 kilograms, which blows my mind. I'd love to check a bike out like that in the future. But I asked them, like, what's this bike actually like to ride? And their response actually surprised me. They said it's too light. Like, in their opinion. It's kind of like, yeah, it's amazing riding it uphill, but especially when you're sort of riding on the flat or when you're going downhill, it almost feels like you just want to wheelie all the time because it's just so light, and it affects then the handling of sort of how it feels. And they seem to think that the kind of sweet spot for a bike in terms of feeling super light, that it's amazing uphill, but also that it actually still kind of handles all right and doesn't want to just float away, they reckon is 4.6 kilograms, which I thought was super cool, super interesting to know. But if you would like to see a bike like this, you know, being ridden by someone like Andrew Feather, because that's something that I really want to see, then yeah, give this video a thumbs up. If we get enough likes on it, then I think we should be able to arrange something like that in the future. I'd love to see Feather take on a climb or a KOM or something on something like this. I think it'd be incredible. They also say that if they were going to make this bike lighter than what it is here, the first things they'd look at would be the frame, because as I said earlier on, you could get lighter frames in this, and then probably the seat post as well. And they reckon you can get pedals that weigh half the weight of these pedals. So, absolutely nuts. I hope you've enjoyed this vid, and well, I'm gonna begrudgingly take this back to Fair Wheel Bikes. Bye. It's so light. Makes me feel so strong. Look how strong I am. I'm so strong.